Hey y'all, Lauren Duroy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, APRN, coming back at you. And today we're going to talk about things a little bit different. So I've really been discussing with you all about kind of different tips and tricks for learning things faster so I can really and truthfully infuse just an amazing amount of information into your mind that sticks for life for forever in a really quick amount of time. But today we're actually going to talk a little bit different. So one thing that I have been polling my women in Strong as a Mother, Healthy as a Provider group is kind of what you feel are your biggest barriers in actual practice. And I have had a resounding response that so many women are feeling really truthfully kind of overloaded in balancing being a mother and being a provider. And it is something that's really difficult to do. So I really feel like this is truthfully part of our lifeline. So I want you to be a super learner. I want you to be really good at what you do, but I also want you to be really good at balancing that work-life balance. And that encompasses so many different things. You know that I'm a huge advocate for nutrition, a huge advocate for exercise, for staying healthy and prioritizing that. But the other part of that, really and truthfully, and the biggest part of that, the beginning part of that, is our mindset and how we are able to cope under stress. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today from the perspective of balancing that in our life. So many individuals are really feeling a lot of pressure, especially, they're at work and they really feel, and I've heard this, I do not believe that you are alone. If you are feeling that, my employer asks too much of me, or I'm seeing too many patients, or, I see that so often. I would say at least probably 70 or 80% of the women that I've polled hundreds at this point in time, have said that is something that they struggle with. And so if you're feeling that, I want you to first and foremost give yourself that grace to know that that's okay that you're feeling that way and that you're probably pretty accurate in that assessment. And I feel that a lot of the times, especially since I know that my people I'm talking to right now are my people, we are type A, we try to be really kind of perfectionists in everything that we do. And that's something that we're going to get to here in a little bit. I know that that's going to be something that really bothers you if you are not feeling that you are giving everything, you're 100%, and you're not performing in a way that is expected of you. So that's the first thing I want you to know is if you're feeling that overwhelm, you are not alone, and you probably really truthfully do need to give yourself that grace that you are overwhelmed. And I want you to first and foremost remind yourself that you are human, that you are going to be able to do what it is that you can, and what you can't, you're not going to be able to do that. I want you to really sharpen and hone your skills and keep on getting better, but I want you to feel encouraged in that. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by that. I want you to be able to look at a situation and say, man, how is this truthfully an opportunity? And that's what we're going to kind of dive into in this Lifeline edition. And I really feel that this is a very big cornerstone for us in having that well-rounded life that we really and truthfully want. So when we're feeling kind of sensory overload in our work and we're trying to figure out, how it is I'm going to get through all of this, I want you to look at things. So one tip and trick that I have for individuals on sensory overload and having too many things on my plate at the same time is I want you to think about, most of the time when we think of something, we think, okay, I've got to see this patient. I've got to remember to put in this order. I've got to remember to do this. I've got to make sure that I'm doing that continuing education. Oh yeah, by the way, did I put in, did I submit my continuing education? Do I need to research for boards yet? All of these things, correct? I want you to put them into a mental filing cabinet right in front of you, tuck them into a little pile, put it straight in front of you. Just look at that first one, whatever that first one is. And even better than that, I want you to make a list. I want you to make a list, or even just one piece of paper with one simple thing on it. That visualization of just seeing that one thing in front of you at one time is so important. I feel that because of EMRs, so I've recently learned that the highest rates of suicide is actually in medicine, especially for like primary care providers, those kind of individuals. And it's because of the computer systems. Real true talk here. So I think that has taken away from some of our ability, our natural, our desires to have a piece of paper in front of me, put it down into a nice little neat pile, and then work at it one at a time. Because now with the computers, we're full of this screen and this screen and this screen and this screen, and all of those things are subconsciously built up in the back of our brain. But we can, once we recognize that, we can tuck it away, file it into our own system in our mind and recognize it. Once you can recognize something as an overstimulation, you can help to say, okay, but I know that it isn't really and truthfully the way that it feels. It feels like I have 1,000 ones I have to do at the same time, but really and truthfully, I don't. I really and truthfully don't. And have that visualization, either mentally, just in your mind, just put everything in order, or physically write it down on pieces of paper and mark it off as you go. That's going to help you so much in that, and giving yourself that grace of not having to be a perfectionist. Perfectionism is something that is a trick of anxiety and depression. It's something that I really dive in deep on my book, Living Between the Lines, because it's never ending. We could always be better. Somebody who makes billions of dollars could always make billions more. Somebody who has all of these subscribers could always have tons and thousands more. Or, the individual who's seeing 20, 30 patients today, they could always see more. They could always do more. They could always get better reviews. They could have more people giving better reviews. Perfectionism is never ending. So I want you to really, truly find grace in what it is that you're doing in that moment and be okay with that. Now, the other part of that is once we get home, we still have to be completely fully on for our family. We want to be present with them. My biggest tip and trick for you in this is really and truthfully having that discussion with them that maybe dad also works and we have to, or, whoever it is in the other individual in the family also works and they need that time too. Or maybe they're staying home and they need that time too, but everyone takes time, 15 minutes, just give me 15 minutes to go sit down right after I get off of work, or, take turns, whoever goes first, and give us that time to just sit and be by myself. I really encourage you to try meditation. I'm going to try to actually get a meditation together for us that is specifically for moms in medicine. But I encourage you really to just do that. Take that time. Don't look at it as being selfish, because the more that you have within you, more energy you have, the more you can give to your family. So that's really and truthfully important. And I want you to really take that time and kind of reflect. Maybe you journal, maybe you exercise, maybe you do whatever it is that makes you feel present in the moment to where you can give that energy to your family. And then I want you to spend, even if it's just, you communicate with your family that I'm really worn out. Like, I have been asked of so many things all throughout the day. Make sure you communicate to them that they understand that. But tell them that, I promise you that I'm going to be fully and completely compassionately with you from, if you get home at 5:30, from 5:30 to 6:30, you're going to have me and completely me. And then I might kind of bottom out on you. I might get really tired. I might get kind of spacey and may not even talk to you very much after that. But you are going to get that time with me. And I feel like whenever we give ourselves that time limit that, okay, I'm going to, it's kind of that push through that I have this moment with you. And giving that empowerment into your significant other is going to allow them to feel that back to you. So that is one of the biggest stumps we get into in relationships. We get so pulled out and pulled away from everything else that we don't have time to really pour into the other individual, and they withdraw. And then we notice that withdrawal, so then we withdraw more. So making sure that we are relaying the way that we feel to our significant other. Make sure that we are delegating things. That's something I talk about, my time management, but it's totally applicable here. And just letting somebody know that, I'm overwhelmed. I want to be there for you as much as I can, but I really need help with getting dinner ready. Maybe we alternate every other night or whatever it is. Tell them that, hey, there's a reason why my profession has the highest rates of suicide in it, and that women especially are at an increased risk for depression. And it's because of all those compounding things and all those things that we need. And I want you to also try to, on our final note here, and then we're going to close this up, I want you to really and truthfully assess whether or not in the past you have associated achievement with grit, working hard, getting through school, doing all of the things, and that pain plus stress equals achievement. And achievement is what I truthfully want in my life. And if that is the rhetoric that you are telling yourself, try to break yourself away from that. Get yourself a coach, get yourself help, whatever it is that you need to do to break that rhetoric. Because we are so commonly, often, we fall into that really easily. And especially through school, it's expected that, oh, that person's in school and they're working, especially somebody who got their NP license. Most all of us worked full-time as a nurse while we were doing that. And it was just the rhetoric we told ourselves: you work hard, you have, it's pain, but it equals achievement. That means you're strong. And I want you to try to break that apart and really and truthfully try to embrace the fact that peace comes when I'm at peace. That whatever energy I have, I attract that. And truthfully adopt that into your life. And maybe in our next, I think we're going to alternate these. The next one will be more like tips and tricks for learning and education. And then our following one, I think maybe we'll talk a little bit more about finding our peace. So thank you for joining me on that. I hope that was helpful. Any feedback is great. At Dr. Lauren, I actually changed it at dr.lauren.dnp on Instagram, or drlaurenaprn@gmail.com. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.